Today we're going to talk about real estate terms. Maybe you're new to buying or selling real estate, maybe you've done it and it has been a while and some of these terms may seem confusing to you. Don't worry, that happens for a lot of people. Real estate has its own language. There's lots of acronyms, lots of terms you would use only within a real estate transaction, so don't fret, we're going to talk about some of those today. I am Bruce McGaw, a realtor with X Realty Town & Country here in the Annapolis Valley in Nova Scotia. And before we go on any further, if you could hit that like button, it would mean the world to me. If you're enjoying this video and want to learn more about real estate, hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in booking a call with me, you can hit the calendar link in the description below. It'll take you to my calendar where you can book a discovery call whether you're looking to buy or sell. It's always great to have a chat and get some advice. So we're going to talk about some general terms. We're going to talk about some terms before you buy, and we're going to talk about some terms while you're in the purchasing process. So one of the first things I want to talk about is realtor. What is a realtor? Well, a lot of people don't really understand what the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent is. So all real estate agents are not realtors, but all realtors are real estate agents. So what does that mean? Well, realtors are part of an association and a board. That association, they pay a fee to, and they can use the realtor name. It also allows them to have access to things like the MLS, multiple listing service, lots of tools, and tons of other resources at their disposal. The MLS, or multiple listing system. What's the MLS? Well, the MLS is a large database of homes that are for sale all throughout the country. As a realtor, we have access to the MLS. So when we list a home, it doesn't just go on the internet, it goes on the MLS. One of the places you've probably seen the MLS system is realtor.ca. Realtor.ca is managed by our national board, and whenever we post something to the MLS system, it automatically gets posted there as well. There's lots of different places that you can look for real estate, lots of different websites. If you put in an address that's for sale, I'm sure you'll find 15 different websites. It's going to bring it to you, but that's because the MLS system pushes it out to all of those websites. So the MLS is kind of like the core at the middle of all the listings, and it sends it out to everything else. Blind bidding. In Nova Scotia, you cannot reveal the details of an offer. If I was a selling agent, we had a situation where there were multiple offers coming in, I would not be able to say to buying agent number 2, 3, 4, say, hi, how much is that offer for? I can't tell you how much the highest offer is. We're not allowed to do that. It's all kept confidential. This is why we talk about blind bidding. So it is unfortunate that you don't know the details of another offer, but that is just the rules here in Nova Scotia. Restrictive covenants. When you buy a property, you're going to have zoning. Zoning is passed down from your municipality or the town that you live in. The restrictive covenants are another additional layer of rules on top of that. Usually when a developer is creating neighborhoods, and a lot of the time specifically subdivisions, they have a specific plan or view in mind of what they want that to look like. Sometimes it's there to keep that cookie cutter feel. Other times it's there to protect people from doing things that harm property value. Some examples of some restrictive covenants that you're going to see would be things of, you can only build this style of home, you can only build this size of home. Sometimes it has to do with what color your door can be. A lot of the times though, it's more restrictive things, stuff like you can't have 15 chickens or any livestock out in your front yard. You can't have broken down cars just sitting there. A lot of the time it also refers to trees. So sometimes you're not allowed to actually cut down a tree that's within a certain distance from your property line. It also could prevent you from planting a tree within a certain distance from your property line. These are all really specific. So if you're worried about restrictive covenants, it's best to ask your realtor to find them for you because they're going to be able to find those before you go and see the property. I've worked with some people that when they see the covenants, they actually choose not to go and look at a property because it's not going to be in line with what they want to do, how they want to enjoy their property. Principal. Principal is the amount of the original loan or mortgage. So when you're paying your mortgage down, that payment goes to several different things. A portion of that goes towards the principal that you're paying down, a portion of that goes towards the interest, and sometimes you can set up your property tax payments to come out of there as well. Equity. Equity goes hand in hand with principal. The amount of principal that you've paid down turns into equity. That's money that you have invested in your home. Now, you can also gain equity by appreciation of the home. As prices rise and the value of your house goes up, so that's a nice way to get equity without having to put extra money into your home. Pre-approval. To become pre-approved for a mortgage, you work hand in hand with your mortgage professional. You're going to submit to them documents and give them an idea of the area that you're looking to purchase. They're going to take all that information plug it in their system, take the best rates that they can find for you at the time being, and they're going to pop out a number. That number is going to be the amount that you can afford based off the information you've given them. Pre-approvals are great because it gives you a general idea of how much you can afford. One of the better parts about pre-approvals are the rate holds. So in a world where interest rates have so much uncertainty, pre-approvals are great because say that rates were 5% on the day you got pre-approved. If rates go up, you're going to be able to hold that 5% rate by the time you close on a property. If rates go down, then some lenders will actually honor that lower rate. Closing, often referred to as a day. So it's closing day. Closing is when you take possession of the property, but it's actually a little bit more than that. Closing refers to the closing of that file for that transaction. So that means that you can take possession of the home, the keys can be released, the sellers of the property have gotten their money, everything is registered, all documents are as they should be, and there's nothing left to do except for take possession of that home, make it yours. Conditions, sometimes talked about as a conditions period. So the conditions period is a time that you have agreed upon between yourself and the other parties to which you're going to meet some conditions. Those conditions include a lot of different things, and usually it's the buyers that have a lot of work to do with the conditions. The sellers do have some obligations that they have to meet by a certain date, but those obligations are more just things that help those buyers do their due diligence. So it's going to be presenting you with things like property tax documents, any inspection reports that they've had, any renovations, receipts, all those kinds of things. Some of the conditions the buyers will have to work to meet include things like inspections, confirmation of insurance. You're also going to be looking at doing your financing within there as well. There's actually a lot of work after that pre-approval stage that needs to get done to actually confirm that you are applicable and approved for the financing for that property. So what is financing? Well, financing is one of the conditions that needs to be approved before you confirm or sign off on the sale of the home. During this process, your mortgage professional is going to be doing a lot of work to see and make sure that you can afford the home based off of the documents that you've given them and what you have for income and a couple different things there as well. Sometimes there is an appraisal needed, and I'll talk about that next. And that is a piece that can come at a cost to the buyer. But once you've done all the work towards the financing, they can put their stamp of approval on it at the end, check it off, and then that's one less condition you need to worry about. Appraisal. So we're not talking about going into your nan's cupboard and taking her china and going to the Antique Roadshow. Yes, they do appraise things there, but not houses. A home appraisal is done by a professional appraiser who's going to take a look at it. Sometimes they go there in person. Other times there's enough available information that they don't need to actually physically go to the property. Basically, that appraiser is going to collect all the information, look at comparable sales, the condition of the home, and what they can see. And they're going to let the lender know that, yes, we can move forward and give this amount of money for this home. Or in a worst case scenario, they're going to say, actually, here's how much you want to buy the home for. Here's how much the home is worth. And then there's a gap there and you have to figure out what to do with the gap. That's where the real estate agents really come into play, because it's up to them to negotiate what that's going to look like. Sometimes it's a price reduction. Sometimes the buyer needs to come up with a little bit more money for their down payment. It's all situationally dependent, and it is a negotiation. Inspections. So there's lots of different inspections that you can do. Property inspections, water tests, septic inspections. Usually I like to start with just a property inspection. If the home's on well and septic, then yeah, we will do a water test and a septic inspection. The water test is going to look at quality and quantity of the water, whereas a septic inspection is going to look at functionality of that septic tank, inspecting it, ensuring that everything's flowing through as it should be. That property inspection is really important too. You're going to hire a qualified inspector who's going to come in. They're going to look at all the elements of the house and give you a general overall idea of the health of the home. Some really important things to look at are things like your foundation, your roof, your windows, your walls, your floors, your appliances. They're going to take a visual inspection because they're not allowed to go in and actually cut holes in the wall to take a look at stuff because you don't own the house yet. That wouldn't be fair to the sellers. If anything comes up in that initial property inspection, you're actually then at liberty to go in and get a further inspection done. That further inspection is done by the professionals who actually do the work. So if something was identified to be a foundation issue, you call a foundation expert. If you had a plumbing problem, you call a plumber, electrician, so on and so forth. Well, I hope you learned a little bit more about real estate terms. They are confusing and there is a lot of them. If you're enjoying these videos, like I said, please subscribe. Until next time, thanks.